Today, I'm breaking down how I manage 3 printers, 2 businesses, a household, and everything else in between. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your workload or unsure how to structure your days so that your printers stay running, this video is going to help you. This is the workflow that I have built after years of running my bakery and now transitioning into running the 3D printing business. Welcome back to Design and Forge Studios Print to Profit. My name is Ashley. Let's get into it. I hope we're all very busy at this holiday season. So, everything in this video is going to be right to the point, give you all the good information to help you in your business so that you can get through the holiday season and start 2026 off strong. I treat my 3D printing business the same way I treat my bakery. And I have talked in previous videos about how I run those businesses, but I'm really going to break it down for you today. For me, every day has a purpose because I don't like bouncing between things all week long. I don't want to be running into the bakery to make chocolate covered Oreos and back into the 3D print room to get something going and then back into the bakery. I set my week up so that the week flows similarly most weeks. Mondays and Tuesdays in both businesses, I am going over a lot of my online things. So for the bakery, I have a full website where orders can be placed through it. And there's a lot of details that have been put into that website over the years. I will often go through, make sure that all of the plugins for it are updated, and just to make sure that everything on the back end is working. With that, I'm also going through my social media for both businesses. I'm scheduling out posts. I am looking at which post performed really well in the previous week so I can look at doing similar posts for the upcoming week. Am I going to have time to do any reels? Because I often don't have time for those. Or is everything going to be more still photos? I'm going to be honest, most of my social media, both accounts are still photos. That's just what I have the time for, and that's okay. I'm still showing up. It's just the way that I am able to show up. If I'm going to be making any files on Canva this week, say if I have an event coming up, if I want to create posters, I'll do that on Monday and Tuesday. I check for both businesses and make sure that I have the labels that I need for, the 3D printing business. And for the bakery, I use a Munbin thermal printer for both of them. I've been using that printer for just over 4 years. I would love a Bluetooth one. Munbin, if you're watching, feel free to send me one. I would love it. I'll talk about it. But I love my Munbin printer. Actually, I use it in all different shapes and sizes. I will print 4x6s in the bakery for different care labels for my cakes and cupcakes. I print 2.25 by 1.25 rectangle for almost everything else that I make in there. And then for the 3D printing, I use the circular ones. It just helps me to see the difference between them and know which business is for which label when I'm going to be making them. But these labels here will go on anything that's going out for a local pickup. It just says custom made with care for, and there's a line so that I can write the customer's name for when it goes out for pickup, they know to look for their name. And then below it, of course, I always have our Instagram name. It's just at Design and Forge Studios. But making sure that I have labels to go on all my products each week before they go out the door is something that I'm always going to start my week with. I also, on a Monday or Tuesday, will do inventory checks. If I'm in the bakery, I'm going to check for my ingredients, check for boxes. If I'm in the 3D printing room, I'm going to go over my filaments that I might need for the week, my packaging, all of those kind of things. Let's make sure that I have everything before we really dive into the week. On Tuesdays, I'm going to make sure maybe that my print files are set up. Yes, you might have people who are going to print every day of the week, all day long. I try not to do that just because I don't want to be standing over those printers all day, every day. So I really try to batch my work. Wednesday to Friday, Wednesday to Saturday is really when I'm going to do the bulk of my printing. In December, is it different? Absolutely, it's different in December because this is a crazy time of year and my printers are going 24/7 just so that I can keep up. I'm not going to turn those printers off for 2-3 days a week because then I'm saying no to money. I'm not crazy, so I will in December bend the rules for both of my businesses because even the bakery, crazy busy at this time of year. But Wednesday to Friday, Wednesday to Saturday, typically I'm going to have those printers going. I'm going to know what I'm going to be working on over those days. I'm going to have everything lined up. I'm going to have the filaments set aside so that I know when I'm switching jobs, it's easier for me to be able to grab rolls so that I'm not looking into the storage room for it and I can just get through those print jobs as quickly as possible. And a lot of times on Sunday, sometimes I might be printing, but a lot of times I'm kind of looking at the next week ahead and what I'm going to be doing. Batching your work is really crucial so that you're not working all over the place and you can do focused work all at once. Now, how do I make sure that my 3D printers are always running smoothly? I'm going to make sure that I have got lots of grease on hand so that my machines are well greased and well moving. I've got extra parts if I need them. So I talked about it in the last video or the one before where I have extra nozzles on hand. If I have a clog, I will just pop that nozzle out, put a new one in, and clean the clogged ones later because I want those printers to keep running smoothly and quickly. I use my A1 Mini predominantly just for all the single color prints because I don't have an AMS for that. Our two A1s have AMSs, so I know if I have multicolor prints, it's going to be set up on one of those two machines. I have all of my settings pretty much dialed in so that I know when I'm getting the printing files going, what my settings are going to be, and I can just get them on there and go. When I'm figuring out which print files I'm going to do in which order, obviously I'm going with first the order that the orders came in. I want to be able to get the ones that came in first out the door first. I don't want to do the later ones first and then have people waiting. But I also look at how long a print file is going to take. If I'm making a custom sign for a door that's going to take maybe an hour and a half to print and it's 6 o'clock at night, I might throw that on the printer at that point. And then before I go to bed, I'll put on a long print that can print all night long. If you only have your printers running during the day, you're losing half the capacity in your business. I love setting up long prints overnight. Maybe it's a plate of flexis that has 250 color changes and it's going to take 15 hours to print. Great. I'll get that print set up. It will be going for the first couple hours while I'm awake. I know it's got good bed adhesion. Everything is set to go. And then I will go to sleep and I'll wake up in the morning and it's done. And those printers are making me money overnight. Make sure that you have your printers dialed in so that they can be working for you while you're sleeping. I wish that I had somebody working in my bakery while I'm sleeping, but it is only me in the bakery, unfortunately. Now let's talk quickly about how I workflow custom orders because that's a big one. The same thing goes in the bakery. Everything in there is custom. The majority of what I do in the 3D print room is custom. So how do I workflow those? Again, at the beginning of the week, I will make all those files. So I'll make the keychains, the nameplates for the desk, the name signs for the doors, whatever it might be that I'm making that's custom. I try to get them all done at the beginning of the week. Then, when I am setting up the print jobs, I'll try to get them on the printers in similar colors. Sometimes I might have multiple nameplates that both have a pink background and a white name. That's great. I can put them on the printer at the same time because they're going to change colors at the same time. All my heights are always the same. And I'll never jump randomly between orders. I always want to try to keep things straight in my mind. And the way that I do that is I have a running to-do list on my notepad on my phone. I use an Excel spreadsheet to track all the orders that come in, and I try not to jump around through things. I just stay in order and then go by colors. I also try to let my customers know what to expect in terms of when things are going to be done. So let's take the last couple weeks, for example, when my printers have been going around the clock printing Elf on the Shelf accessories. I let all those customers know as orders were coming in and I knew things were going to take me a little bit to get backed up. I'd say, I should have your order ready in 48 to 72 hours and I will reach out to let you know when it's ready for pickup because almost all of them were local pickup. I had a few that went out through the mail, but most were local pickup. And typically, what I like to do is something that I learned from a part time job I had way back in the day, which is under promise, over deliver. So if I know that I can probably get something done within a day or two, I might say that it could take me up to 72 hours. And then if I'm able to contact them a day and a half later and say, hey, your order's ready for pickup, I always get a wow, that was so fast. I didn't expect it so soon. So they're actually pleasantly surprised by that. So just something to keep in mind. By not jumping around and keeping your customers happy in that way, you can build trust and protect your own time. Before we move on, as always, if you are enjoying this video and learning anything, I would really appreciate a like. Leave a comment below of what is something that you workflow in your business to help you keep things running smoothly. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to try to keep getting these videos out through the busy holiday season in order to help you continue to grow your businesses or to build on something so that you can start a business in 2026. Now let's talk about some more important lessons that I've learned from the bakery. So I've said it before, and batching is everything. Try to do similar things at the same time. It'll really help you to move through them quickly. When you're able to prep ahead, do that in order to prevent yourself from falling behind. So if there is, maybe there's custom items that you make a lot of, things that you have designed, whatever that might be. And you know that you have, let's say we're looking ahead to other holidays that are going to come in the future. Say we're looking at even Mother's Day, Father's Day. If you have something that you design that is specifically for mom or dad, right? Something that is typically bought for a male or a female, and you know that you're going to sell a lot of those come that time, start working ahead, even if you're printing a few every week, just to get yourself a little bit more set up for when that time comes so that you're removing the stress. Had I known that the elf on the shelf accessories that I was offering were going to take off the way that they did, I would have started printing those at the beginning of November so that I could have them on hand. And as soon as the orders were coming in, I could get everything packaged up and out the door. It would have saved me some time to be able to batch work on that ahead of time. But I didn't know what to expect. This is the first holiday season that I have had the 3D printing business. Gives me a better idea though now for next year. And you better believe that I am keeping notes so that I can prepare better for next year. Another lesson from the bakery is always have those backup supplies ready. So I've talked about the nozzles. We have a couple backup hot ends that we keep because we've had the wires go on them when we've had a big blob on the printer and it always seems to get the wire and it splits and then you have to replace the whole thing. But make sure that you have things ready so that you can just quickly move through files. Maybe that means you have extra build plates so that you can pop something off, it can cool to the side while you get a new plate on there and the next print gets moving. And the last two things here are that your time will not be profitable unless you manage it well. You can take 20 minutes to do a job, you can take 2 hours to do a job. But if you are only charging a certain amount of money to do that job, you are making way less money over that 2 hours versus that 20 minutes. So focus when you're doing the jobs and make sure that you're prepared before you get them going. Finally, always remember that your customer experience really matters. Word of mouth is what grew my bakery. And it grew really, really fast because I provide a very good customer experience. It's so hard to go into any store or business these days, I think, and get quality customer service. If you provide that great customer service to your customers, they're going to remember that. And that's what's going to get them coming back to you. And the last thing that I want to talk about, and I have talked about it before, and it's just a matter of protecting yourself from burnout. Burnout is so real, especially at this time of year. It will make you want to walk away from your business and never do it again. I have been very close to that point in the bakery before, and I finally learned and I have been able to manage things better. This, for me, has been the best holiday season in the bakery so far in terms of how I am managing my time. I have watched more Christmas movies with my kids this year than I have in any of the previous 5 years since I have opened this business. And it has left me so much happier and so much more fulfilled with how the holiday season is going. Make sure that you work non printing hours into your schedule, even if that's an hour when your family is home. If you have a family, that you can just spend dedicated time with them and you're not focusing on the printers and the print jobs. If you let it, your workload will expand to fulfill every single spare minute that you have. So when you focus work into certain blocks of time and you batch it, you can ensure that you are making better use of your time. So, what part of managing your 3D printing business workflow is the hardest? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you want to keep coming back here and keep getting notified about all of the different videos coming out where I am taking what I have learned in growing a very successful bakery over 5 years to now grow a 3D printing business and giving you that information too. Thank you so much for sticking around until this point. I've got a lot more videos coming your way, but until next time, happy printing.